Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Friday, January 9th. Happy Friday, everyone. It is NFP, and it is 6:27 right now. We got market opening up in about 3 minutes. I'll give it a few moments for people to make their way in. Yeah, it looks like people are still looking to make their way in right here. Um, so if you guys are looking to take the breakout is going to be against momentum. So depending on how this next candle closes, um, we currently have a buy signal right now, so it might be for a sell. So we'll see what happens in a few as we get closer to that. But all right, guys, as people start to join in, just another reminder, guys, I am registered with the CFTC and NFA as a professional trader, commodity trading advisor. Futures trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. You can lose more than your initial investment. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This stream is for informational and educational purposes only. Nothing shown or discussed is a solicitation to buy or sell any futures contract or to participate in any trading program. I may hold positions in the market as discussed. My views may change based on any times. My views may change at any times based on the market conditions, and if any hypothetical or backtested results appear during the stream, they have significant limitations and do not represent actual trading. So, all right, guys, there goes the disclaimer. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. But good morning, guys. Let's see what's here so far. So market's gonna open up shortly in a few seconds, guys, in about 30 seconds. So if you guys are looking to take the breakout's gonna be a sell for today. For those of you who are jumping into this. Let's see what's here. Morning, Ben. Morning, Karen. Morning, Steven. Morning, Hadas. Morning, Gactive. Or George. Morning, Lala. Morning, Rashida. Morning, everybody. So today's NFP, guys. Expect the market to be crazy here on open. Um, it's NFP. You guys can see the big, huge spike right here. So we'll see what happens. So I'm not looking to get into anything here just yet. Obviously, as you guys know, NFP is like one of the more riskier days to trade, so you want to be a little cautious. I'm gonna try to get into a trade here, whether I'm cautious or not. But we'll see where price ends up going as we continue on with the session for today. If you guys looked at the list of trades for today, there's a lot of trades if you guys have seen it. There's a lot of cluster trades for the 60/30, for the 40/20. There's a lot of trades just in general. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 trades here for the 40/20. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 trades for the 60/30. So if that being the case right there, we will wait and see as price continues to, obviously move along here. So I don't really have anything here yet. Our first entry, let's see, is going to be at 637 for the 40/20 for any of you guys who are looking to get into that specific trade there. So we have one trade coming up right here in about 6 minutes. That is going to be for the 40/20. For the 60/30, we don't have trades until a little later. Well, a little after that. It's gonna be against momentum. But yeah, if you guys have access to the Discord, I mean, just go ahead and check out the algo list, guys. Again, go to the Discord, go over to algo right here. I'm not going to show it because we're not looking to share those trades with the general public. But if you guys have access to the Discord, I posted all the trades there for today. A lot of trades for today, so we'll see. Anyways, here's the daily bias for today. Daily bias is neutral bearish. A lot of news events today. Here, let's check NFP news real quick. So this was NFP right here at 5:30. You guys can see the huge spike down and up. Looking at this, let's see. The NFP news was negative. So NFP news is negative, but it was mixed up here with like the other news events. Overall, it is negative though. So we do have a push to the upside. Price may pull back down. So looking at looking at looking at the breakout here on open, guys, this looks like a classic setup to like what happened yesterday, right? I know the probabilities pointed for the other direction, but if you ever see like a big gap like this pre-market and the breakout is pointing back up in the other direction, odds are it's probably going to work out, right? That wasn't the case here. I was expecting there to be a sell signal and then it would shift right back up, but that just wasn't the case here. So in the future, I mean, if you guys are looking, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys have noticed this, and we've actually looked at this in the past when I used to take the breakout. This was the pattern that I was typically looking for. Like, for example, if price was coming down right here, pre-market, and the breakout pointed for a buy, I would have taken it, and then vice versa. If price was pushing up pre-market, and then the breakout was for a sell, I would typically take that trade there, right? Um, it just kind of depends on your criteria. If you're trying to just take it as is, then obviously you just take it as is. But for the most part, if you were to go back and just kind of retest and look at previous breakout entries, I'm kind of curious now. Let's go back to like not yesterday, because obviously yesterday won. Let's go back to like Wednesday. Right. How did that breakout play out on Wednesday? Yeah, so same situation right here, right? So price right here, pre-market was pushing up. It was against momentum with the sell signal. So price was climbing up and then market opened right here at 6:30, then it ends up coming back down. So it's just, I mean, it's not always going to happen that way, but that's something to, pay attention to. One thing that Talanji mentioned, he said, saw the flickering momentum at 629 and figured it would shoot up. I wonder how often that happens. That's one thing too. So if you don't want to look at that with the market structure prior, you can also look at the flickering momentum, right? Because the flickering momentum happened right here at 629. So I think this might even be a bigger factor. Like I mentioned this yesterday, the flickering momentum is huge. Like if you guys know how to use the flickering momentum to see if price was going to flip the other way, then that's something that you guys can take into in consideration. Because the thing is, there's been flickering momentum since 628. It probably was coming up earlier, but I just turned on the alerts right now. So I'm sure it happens pretty often, Solange. Or if there's a flickering momentum, I would say like maybe just skip the trade in a sense, right? I don't even take it if there's a flickering momentum before. Flickering momentum, it just shows. So if you guys are not familiar with like what the flickering momentum means, it just shows that there's inconsistency, right? I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of people don't realize that. When there's a flickering momentum, it shows that there's going to be a movement, but you don't know what direction that movement's going to be, and it's not going to be consistent. If there's no flickering momentum, that usually shows that market's just moving smooth, right? So for example, right here, we haven't had a flickering momentum since like 6:30, so in about 6 minutes. And see how price is just smoothly moving to the upside, right? You're not getting like a lot of crazy chop, but there's going to be a ton of confluences, guys. Like it just depends on what confluences you guys want to stick to. But yeah, anyways, if you guys are looking to take the entry over here, it's not a target entry for 4060. It's a listed entry. So we have a listed entry here. This is what I was talking about yesterday, why I'm not switching to where I have been taking 40/20 trades. Right. Like yesterday, I think someone was mentioning about like, or they thought I was taking a 40/20 trade. I'm not taking any 40/20 trades because the ATR is too high, right? If the ATR is around 20, then okay, great. I'll take a 40/20 trade because if price pulls back on me, it's not going to stop me out. But the problem here is that the ATR is too high. So if it stops, if it goes against you, even just a slight bit, um, you can easily, really mess up your account. So this is the 40/20 trade that's currently running. I'm not in this position, but I'll just follow with you guys. It's not a target entry. It's just a listed entry. Here are the probabilities for that specific trade. So this is the 637 trade you can see right here. It's with momentum and it has a max equity drawdown of 839. It has a weighted average of 52% probability. It has an overall probability of 50%, buys at 54%, and sells at 44%. It has a prop factor of 1.6. So it's not a great strategy. I mean, it's okay. It's okay, but it's not great, right? And you can see over here, it's not really moving too much either. It's kind of slow. So it'll probably hit, but it's gonna take a while for it to hit. And it's probably gonna hit in a few minutes. Um, Let me see if there's anything else here, any other tools that I have that may. Where's my liquidity tool at? Okay, so yeah, the trade here didn't play out. It's a good trade to skip. It's not even a target entry. I'm trying to put my tools up to see if there's anything here that can kind of help us understand like where price is likely to to go next. So if you guys can see here with the liquidity indicator that I have, there's liquidity sitting in a lot of areas here. So I'm probably not going to leave this on, but I'll just kind of see what tools here we can use to kind of identify like where price is likely to push to next. Again, if you guys have a list of my entries, the trade that we were looking at right here at 637, it wasn't a target entry for 4020. It was just a listed entry. So we are just watching it to see where price went, and it did exactly what I was worried about, right? So I told you guys earlier, I said I don't like taking these 4020 trades because look at the ATR, it's so high. And I said if price even goes against you just for a little bit, it can stop you out before it pushes up to target, right? So that's why I'm not taking these 4020 trades right now. You can see I wouldn't be surprised if this pushes right through to target. Like it would have came down here just to stop out real quick, but then it's going to push right back up, right? If this was a 60-30, you could survive the movement, right? You'd still be in the position right now. But again, it's not one of those that I personally would take because, I mean, the obvious reasons here. So I just turned on the liquidity here to kind of show you guys. You can see our price is actually coming back and it's just retesting this level of liquidity, right? It's the huge bunch of wicks right there, retesting that liquidity. One other thing that could be useful would be the high-low indicator um, to identify current market structure. So what I mean by that is, so for example, if you're looking for and all this stuff is optional. This is just if you're using price action, if you're using technical analysis to make confirmations for your trade. If you wanted to take something here, like for example, if you wanted to take a sell right here within this area, you'd be looking for a high, a low, a lower high, right? And then if you had a position anywhere around this area, great, you take the trade, right? Because price action showing you that the trend is starting to build the other way. Right now, there's nothing happening right here. Price is just chopping up back and forth. See how we're getting a bunch of pending momentum here? This is exactly what we talked about earlier, and this is what we talked about yesterday. When you start to get a lot of flickering momentum here, this indicates that, okay, this is probably a time to sit out of the market because it's showing that there's no consistency, right? When you have a portion of time where there's no flickering momentum, then that's going to indicate that, okay, price is likely to keep moving in this direction or keep moving in this direction, right? So I'm trying to take the discretion out of this, but it's hard because, well, I mean, if anything, I think the thing that you'd probably want to be more concerned with, like if you don't care about any of these other confluences, like you don't care about price establishing a high, establishing a low, establishing a lower high, and continuation down, then I would say just focus on mainly the flickering momentum. Because if the flickering momentum isn't happening, then price is moving consistently, right? Like for example, right here, if this is finally closed, right? At 641, we had a momentum signal close. If we don't get any flickering momentums in the next 10 minutes or so, I could expect this to continue dropping lower and lower and lower until we have a flickering momentum. And then in a situation like that, you might see price reverse and go right back up. And now we're going to watch price kind of push down from here. We have the next entry, which is going to be a target entry at 4020. It's going to be coming up at 644. Here's the criteria for that. It's probably going to be a no entry I mean, obviously it's going to be no entry because it's for a buy. So the 644 entry is going to be with momentum. It has an 8% max equity drawdown, 63% weighted average, 55% overall, 72% for buys, and 33% for sells. It has a 2.1 profit factor, so the profit factor is really good, but it's for a buy here because the probabilities are higher on the buy side, right? So with that being the case, I'm not really expecting much to happen. I mean, if you guys are looking to get into that position there, um, it's just not going to happen. There's going to be no entry. So just something to keep in mind, guys. Okay. So with this being the case, I'm gonna be updating the spreadsheet as we go. Hey Sam, morning. Sam said one more news later. Yeah, I believe there's one more coming up, right? Yeah, we got Michigan consumer sentiment at 7 o'clock. Let's see. Mr. Gibbs is asking you copy all of your accounts at the same time. Yeah, for the most part, yeah, I do. Well, except for the StoneX account. Well, all the Ninja Trader accounts, yes, but not the other ones because I use two different brokers. The institutional broker doesn't have a copy feature, unfortunately. Well, it has a feature for its own, but not inter-platform, so you can't go between Ninja and StoneX. So those are separate, but yeah, for the most part, they are kind of taken at the same time. Okay, so again, like I just said earlier, guys, right? There's no flickering momentum, and see how price is coming straight down. This is what we want, right? Whenever we take an entry, we want to make sure there's no flickering momentum. Because when there's no flickering momentum, it indicates that, okay, price is likely to keep pushing that direction. For NinjaTrader, I use Replicano. If you want, this is the promo code if you want to use the same one. We all use this one. So this is the one that we all use for Ninja. It's a promo. You get 20% off on that one. For StoneX, it's built in, so I don't use a third party for StoneX. All right, so we got price pushing down right here. So like I said, you don't need these tools, guys, but I'm just adding them on to kind of see, where price may be going. Kind of messy, but I mean, it's fine, I guess. Or you know what? I guess I could leave these off and then I can just do this on the other chart. Or no, I think this is good to have it on here. It's good to kind of see and have an idea. I don't want to add too many tools. I'll leave the SRs off, but we'll keep these here. I mean, it wouldn't matter because we're not using technicals, but I think it's good to have an idea of like where things are coming and where things are going. Yeah, it's long. You said love that imbalance tool. Yeah, this tool is cool. Like the liquidity tool is cool because you can see where price is likely to push to. It's similar to like what Paul mentioned. Yeah, Paul mentioned the flickering momentum is a good indicator. I noticed your liquidity indicator looks similar to fair value gaps. Yeah, so when I created this liquidity indicator, it's very similar to fair value gaps. It just uses a couple other criteria to um, to identify. So, for example, for normal fair value gaps, when price touches a fair value gap, it disappears. For this, it uses extra criteria to identify if it's still valid or not, right? That's why you can see over here, price has touched these areas, but it hasn't disappeared yet. Same with this up here, right? So this is what kind of makes these liquidity zones stronger. Because price has touched that area, but it hasn't necessarily, invalidated it yet. So you can see our price is now pushing back up, and it's pretty much invalidating these liquidity zones. Price goes through it. Yeah, Solange said US 30 definitely has behavioral patterns. So unfortunately, your discretion in chart analysis is 100% valid. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing with like trading YM and US 30 is that like we've traded it for so long, so you guys understand like, the behavioral patterns. It's not like a normal, well, I mean, it is a normal asset, but it's not something that like really moves consistently all the time. So that's why I created all these tools to begin with because I wanted to kind of see where price, like I wanted reasons for where price is pushing, where price is rejecting. If you guys look at all my tools here, price does have issues sometimes when it reaches certain areas, right? Rejection off the sessions. The only thing is, so use these tools with a grain of salt, right? Because the problem with these tools is that yes, they do help with identifying structural areas of the market. But the problem with this is that if you guys have too many tools on your chart, it's going to prevent you from getting into entries, right? It causes analysis paralysis. So yeah, they're good tools to help to like kind of point you in the right direction to see if price is pushing certain ways or if it's going to go a certain way. But also don't use it as an end all be all. Like for example, if you have an entry for an algo entry and then you have a sessions there, you might be scared to enter a position, right? Like for example, price is coming down to the sessions right here. You might have been scared to enter a sell here, but if you had an algo entry to push price down in that direction, then you probably would want to disregard the tools unless you had a reason to keep it and to continue using it. But yes, the ATR is very high right now. Again, at 7 o'clock, we have more news. We have Michigan consumer sentiment, which is going to have to deal with inflation and uh and consumerism. So we'll see what ends up being the case there. Yeah, Barack said I expect us to take out that zone. It seems there might be some unfinished business down there. Yeah, I think eventually, that might be the case. Again, if you look over here, there's been flickering momentum from 648. So you can kind of see the pattern here with the flickering momentum, right? We have the flickering momentum at 648, 649. So with that being the case, price is attempting to shift up. It just doesn't have enough power to actually get there. It's trying to, but it doesn't have enough to really get there just yet. There we go. As price pushes down lower. All right, we have another fair value gap down there or liquidity zone. I have another tool here that we could probably use. Let me see if I can pull it up. This is a third party tool. I don't really use it very much, but if you guys want to use it, it is I don't know if I can put it on here. It's like I'm either going to be able to have it on here or I'm going to have to switch it with another tool here that I have. Let me see if I can pull it up over here. The alerts still come. Okay, that's fine. We can actually use it on here. The alerts still work on this. I have another tool here that I don't recommend paying for these tools. I don't think they're really good. I think they're good to kind of have market structure kind of built around. So here's another tool. I've had this tool from a long time ago. I just kind of use this for Confluence. This is a Lux algo tool. I don't recommend paying for it, guys. If you guys have seen Lux algo, I don't want to downplay Lux algo or down talk them, but their strategies are not good. Their tools are good. If you know how to use the tools properly, they're good, but their strategies I've been in their group for a while, from a long time ago, because I was curious to see like what they were doing that like what people were buying into. But their tools are good, but their strategies are not. I've tried all of their strategies, none of them are profitable. So I wouldn't recommend wasting money on this stuff here. And again, this is just used as Confluence. So you can see I like using this because I don't have to draw certain things like market structure, right? Um, like change of character, break of structure, that type of stuff. That's still just easier to have on the chart. maybe at some point in the future, Masich could maybe make a tool very similar to this because it's good to see the price action, to see the market structure kind of build around. But again, I don't think it's very necessary. I personally don't think it's necessary at all. Um, I just like looking at it sometimes. Yeah, yeah. Masich said Luxottica is horribly overpriced. I already made that. Do you want me to make my market structure? Want to my yeah, sure, Masich. I mean, if you have it, yeah, why not? Yeah, like so back then when I was creating new indicators and new tools, I created well, I kind of bought into other platforms to kind of see what they were doing. But then I realized that like a lot of their stuff doesn't even work. Like, yes, here I'll just take everything off so you guys can kind of see. Like the Lux Algo stuff, it looks cool and it looks nice, but the usability of the actual tools are like not really that good. Like it looks good after it's happened, right? So for example, right here, the Lux Algo tool, it looks cool like because you can see what happened in the past, but real time, it's not really that helpful, to be honest. Not because I try to create strategies around their tools, right? So for example, over here, sometimes they have something like they'll have like this supply and demand zone or something like that, and it'll say it's like like it'll say it's 80% strong or like 99% strong, and then you see price break right there, and you're like, what the fuck? Like you said it was 90% strong, and it's like it breaks right through it. So. It was really hard to kind of build strategies around their tools. I tried really hard to build strategies around their tools. I try to combine my tools with theirs, but yeah, their tools are good for show to see what happened in the past, but it's not good to actually see how market reacts to them, if that makes sense. So just something to keep in mind, guys. Again, it's a Lux Algo tool. If you guys want to check it out, I don't know if they have any trials or promos or anything like that. It's very expensive and for what you're getting. So I don't really recommend it. But yeah, I mean, if it's something you guys want to check out, see, this is kind of the cool thing that since I don't sell anything anymore, like I don't teach and I don't sell like my indicators or my tools and stuff, I can kind of share other platforms and don't feel like bad about it, right? Because back then it's like, okay, I wouldn't want to share their platforms or their tools um, obviously I didn't want people taking people from my group, but obviously like now I can just kind of share with you guys stuff that I've used in the past to kind of build things off because I'm not selling anything anymore. Anyways, let me check over here real quick. I think Masih shared his tool with me. Let me refresh. There's no entries right now, guys. So if there's something that you guys are looking for, I mean, there's nothing to take right now. There's a couple trades coming up on the 40/20. I'll also take a look at I'll take a look at the 60/30 entries. There's a couple here that came up so far. Let's see. Masih shared some tools with me. Oh, cool. So Masih actually made the same tool already. Okay, I actually like yours better, Masih. It looks like it's easier to see. Yeah. So similar concept. Let's see. I'm assuming you have, yeah. But again, like this tool, it works well. Not specifically your tool, Nasish, but just in general, following change of character, break of structure. This stuff here is like, I like that you added the higher highs and the lower lows here. I think that's another, yeah. So that kind of helps so you don't have to have the high low indicator up there. It just shows like what's currently still pending. But yeah, I actually like yours a lot better, Nasish, because it looks a lot cleaner, right? Looking at Massage's compared to the Lux Algo one. The Lux Algo one's kind of messy, honestly. I feel like if you're gonna use a Lux Algo one, you have to take everything like you can't have anything else on the chart. Like you just have to look like that. Yeah. But yours looks cool, Message. All right, so other than that, um, other than that, see, this is what I mean about like the break of structure and change of character not really being super relevant. Because look how the fake outs happen, right? Price broke and closed past this right here, the change of character, but then it ends up just reversing right back up. Um, What I like to see sometimes is I like to see reversals from the change of character and breakup structures, right? So like if you go back to, and I'm kind of curious to kind of see here, because yours is a lot cleaner. Let me see, so it's easier to see, where price kind of breaks through certain areas. Oh, I see. It doesn't, the labels they only show with the so I'd have to like play the replay there. But it's okay. But anyways, like I was just saying, like when price breaks past structure like that, um, we had a couple strategies where I was like breaking retest or high-low reversal, wherever it may be. Um, but yeah, you guys can see over here that price isn't really respecting these breakup structures. Every time it breaks past the structure, it's just a fake out. Price broke past the structure, faked out. Price broke the structure, broke past the structure right here, another fake out. This one actually followed through. This one faked out, but then it followed through. Let's see. Yeah, we'll keep looking at it. Anyways, guys, we had a couple entries here kind of show up. Let me check real quick. 658 for a buy. So we have one that's currently running right now. I'll just mark it up for a second. So this one here is currently running. This is a 60/30 at 658. Let me put the criteria up here. So guys, just another reminder, if you guys did not hear what I mentioned earlier, I'm not taking any 40/20 trades, guys. We talked about this. We've been talking about this every day pretty much. I'm not taking any 40/20 trades because of the ATR, right? We're listing the trades and I'm putting them up because people want them, but I'm not taking those trades. If the ATR is to drop down a little bit, then great. I'd start taking those trades. But if you guys have been following the trade, especially the one that happened here earlier at like 637, this trade lost. It got really close to target and it lost because the ATR is too high. It ended up pushing up close to profit and then it reversed straight down. This trade right here is a listed entry, not a target entry, but it is listed right here at 658 for the 60/30. So this trade's currently running right now. This is a clear example of like why you don't really want to use all these extra tools because see how price is pushing through. If you guys have too much stuff on the chart, it's going to prevent you from getting into the positions, right? So whatever positions that you guys have in mind, I mean, use these tools as a confluence, but don't let it make the decision for you whether you want to take the trade or not, right? If you already made the decision to take a certain trade based on the algo, then I would recommend just taking the trade. Don't really put too much emphasis on the uh the confluences because the thing is you don't want to have too many confluences because if you have too many confluences you're just not going to take the trade, right? You're going to have analysis paralysis. But this is the first entry for 60/30 which has came up. There was one that was against momentum at 648 which was down here, but there was a flickering momentum on it. If you're going to use a confluence, I think the main confluence you want to really use is going to be the flickering momentum. Try not to use the other tools as much. Just use them for a confluence to see if the trade's actually going in your direction. And then we have the news right there that just came up at 7 o'clock. Thanks. That I think that's why we had that big spike, right? Yeah, we did. So you guys can see the 7 o'clock candle right here. Let me just go to the cleaner chart. The 7 o'clock candle right here created, a pretty extreme spike, and then price is now reacting to it because we had news over here at 7 o'clock, which was actually positive, but price is kind of pushing the other way. I mean, it pushed down basically to manipulate people out, and then now it's going to probably push right back up. But all right, we will continue following this and we'll kind of see where price ends up going. Not in any positions here right now. No target entries here at the moment. So you guys see how this like got manipulated to the downside? Our first actual target entry is going to come up shortly in about 10 minutes or so. So I'll be looking to get into that one. I don't know if we'll have one. It's for a sell. If you guys have access to the algo list, it's for a sell. So we'll see as we get closer to that. But yeah, so here's the price reaction to the news. Like I said earlier, we had a basically a fake out or manipulated spike. News came out right here at 7. We had this huge wick candle. Price came down to stop people out, and then it came right back up because the news was positive. So this is why we avoid trades around news. Obviously, there's nothing you can do to predict that a spike like that would happen, right? Price would either spike one way, spike the other. And now we're getting some pretty crazy candles right here, back and forth. These candles are huge. Let me measure them real quick. Yeah, these are almost 100-point candles. So again, like I said, if you guys are doing those 40-20 trades, you're gonna get demolished. There's like it's almost near impossible to, unless you get lucky, because it's really impossible to survive a move like this, right? This is a 100-point candle. If your stop loss is 20 points, I mean, good luck, right? Because price can just turn against you just in a split second. You get stopped out and then go straight into profit after. So that's why I'm not taking any 40-20 trades right now. Volatility is way too high. I mean, even the 60-30, it's a little too high. But I'd rather have a 30-point stop loss than a 20, of course, to protect the position. All right, so again, we have our first actual target entry, which is going to be coming up in a bit. It's going to be for a sell. So if this ends up holding in this direction, then we'll be able to maybe get into it. But as of now, not quite. All right, that's going to be our first trade coming up shortly. Yeah, Paul said fake out Friday, and definitely. I just saw your message about Lux scam go. Yeah, Messi said this Friday is horrible. Tons of news. Fridays are bad. I ain't trading this terrible market. I'm gonna be looking for the entry, but yeah, like you said, I mean, we already knew it was gonna be like this, not just because it's Friday, but because it's NFP, right? NFPs, like we talked about this earlier this morning. If you guys are looking, these are gonna be the highest highest manipulation days. Number one is always gonna be NFP, which is today. CPI, PPI, FOMC. Yeah. So these days are good and they're bad. They're good because there's going to be a lot of volatility. They're bad because there's a lot of manipulation that happens on these days. And you guys can hear my Ninja Trader in the background connection loss. Like when there's high news days like this, especially in NFP or any of these days, really, I tend to get a lot of connection loss for Ninja Trader. Let me check real quick. I mean, I'm still looking to get into something, so I'm not counting anything out here yet. But yeah, I mean, I'll be looking. 706 right now. Yeah, it's 706. So we've got about, I mean, the main thing I'll be looking for is for the flickering momentum, of course. But we'll see. Talanji City. I'm hoping for price below 49,440 before target entry show. It's gonna be tricky. Yeah, Paul said 702, no entry, stay out of the market, guys. Miss Siege said 45 ATR. This is the worst market I've seen in weeks. Yeah, see, the thing is that the volume is, well, not the volume, the volatility is a little high, and the problem is that it's not consistent, right? So you're getting a lot of like here it looks nice, it looks great, but he's over here right before it. you get like 100-point candles in both directions, 100-point spike down, 100-point spike up, then right back down. Um, yeah, it's just be aware, right? Use your market awareness here to kind of determine if like so this is where I think it's going to be a little tricky. I know we're going to get a flickering momentum at some point here because what I see here is that we had a big spike to the downside and then now price is kind of sitting right here and it's trying to push right back up. So it's trying to fill the gap basically. Price pushed down and it's now looking to gap back up, right? Yeah, exactly. Solange said rejection before continuation. That's what I'm seeing here, or what I see may happen. Price may flicker up and then it might come back down. It's basically a head and shoulders pattern. If you guys like looking at patterns and stuff like that. See, like, let me show you guys this. So see this right here? Like Lux Algo says that there's a 75% strong low, 76%. And then in a second later, you're just gonna see price blast right through it. So it's not really relevant. Same with this over here, right? So this over here, there was a support level. It had 70% strong, but then it blasts right through it. So I wouldn't really use these tools here to make decisions. It's just to see where like structure is kind of sitting from prior. But realistically, price doesn't really respect these structures very much. They'll just break through it. The thing that I did like is this right here. They're but even this is not really that good either because it looks good when it's actually working in the direction, but a lot of times you're going to see something where it says all bullish and then it still comes down super heavy, or see something that's all bearish and it pushes up super heavy. Um, yeah, exactly. And the siege to their code is all absolute BS. There's no real structure there. That's what I mean. Like it's like you want it to work and it looks great after it's happened, but if you look at it real time, it doesn't really respect those zones, at all. All right, so price, and there you go. There's a flickering momentum, right? I told you guys that was going to happen. So the 7-11 trade is not going to come up. It's a flickering momentum. So you guys can see how I already knew that was going to happen before it happened, right? So price was over here. It was about like 5 minutes ago. I said, be careful for that 7-11 entry, which is going to be the first target entry because we're going to get a flickering momentum. And that's exactly what happened right here. If you guys want to take that trade, I mean, feel free to take it, right? Don't let me scare you from taking the trade. If you already made the decision that, okay, I'm going to take that 7-11 trade, go ahead and take it. But I already knew this was going to happen, so I'm not going to take it. Like I already knew I was going to take it before the flickering momentum happened, and the flickering momentum happened. I said, be careful because we have that trade coming up at 7-11, but be careful because it's going to push up and we're going to get that flickering momentum, which is going to invalidate the whole trade idea. So I'll put the criteria up here, or we already have it on the chart actually. So right now it has a 9% max equity drawdown. It has an overall probability of 50%, profit factor of 2. I'll just copy this over so you guys can see it listed. And this comes with experience, right? I've been trading for about 15 years now, so I've seen this pattern happen so many times over those 15 years. So that's why I already knew this was going to happen 5 minutes before it actually happened. And this is why I wasn't even looking to take that first entry. I wanted to take it, but again, like I already knew this was going to happen because I already understand how to read the price without it happening yet. Um, but yeah, 7-11 right here is with momentum, 9% max equity drawdown, 60% weighted average, 50% overall, 38 for buys, 71 for sells. It has a 2-point profit factor, and the expectancy decay is 0.46. So this shows that it's been doing pretty well from the past 60 trading days up until now, the past 20 trading days. So yeah, there's the position right there. Again, I'm not in this position. If you guys want to take it, I mean, feel free. Like I said, the flickering momentum here, this is a huge factor, right? Look how price is pushing up right now. And this looks like it's going to stop out. I'm hoping it doesn't, but stop out right there, right? So this is why the discretion is really important, right? A lot of people get annoyed that I'm looking at these flickering momentums, but I literally just stopped you guys from taking a loss right there. Right. I already knew this was going to happen 5 minutes ago, and I told you guys, like, if the flickering momentum comes up, don't take the trade. Hopefully you guys listen to me because you would have avoided that loss right there. Like I did all that and I gave you guys my analysis without even using any tools here, right? I just used I just looked at the chart. There was nothing down here to see what was like there was no sessions, there was no liquidity, there was no fair value. There's nothing down here to tell me, oh, this was going to reverse. And I already told you guys 5 minutes ago it's going to reverse. It's going to pull back here. And you guys will develop that skill, right? If you guys trade long enough and you trade a specific asset long enough, you can identify that this was going to happen before it did. I mean, obviously, if I was a mean reversion trader, which I'm not, if you're a reversal trader, you can use my analysis to trade the opposite way, right? The problem with mean reversion is that it doesn't always work out as you expect it to, right? For me, I'm a trend continuation momentum trader, so I like to follow the trend. Like when price is going up like this, I like to take it as price pulls back and continues up higher, right? So for me, I don't like going against the grain. Some people like going against the grain. I used to be a mean reversion trader for a while, but then I realized that over time, you get screwed more than you don't. So for me personally, I don't like taking mean reversion. Um, Another way of thinking of mean reversion is like liquidity grab, right? If you guys remember last year, I was doing liquidity grabs for a while. I like them to some extent, but there's a lot of times where we ended up getting screwed, and I just don't like trading mean reversion. So if you guys want to trade mean reversion or reversal, make sure to look at the flickering momentum because that'll give you a hint that okay, price is going to flip and reverse from that point. But all right, guys, there's no entries here so far. I'm gonna go and update the spreadsheet. Flickering momentum, no entry. Yeah, so like whatever I'm saying here on this stream, guys, it's not random shit. I'm not just saying random stuff here. I'm telling you guys stuff because I can see it on the chart before it happens. And if you guys want to take that to your advantage, then so be it. But if you don't, don't let my analysis prevent you from taking the trade that you want to take. Like just take the trades you want to take if you already made the decision. So we have a couple entries here which came up 712. There's no entry because we had a buy signal, of course. Or this is another flickering momentum. The 714, no entry because there's a buy signal there. Fuck, man. This is another day, like you guys will see it. This is another day where there's just no it's not looking like we're gonna get something here. Okay, so see how price is coming back down right here? We might get another flickering momentum pretty soon. Flickering momentum and then probably a push back down here. These are like liquidity zones. They're not super necessary. I can kind of already see where price is likely to push back to. If it comes back from this point, it's probably gonna come down to here. If you guys want to use the liquidity to use that as a tool to follow, you guys can do that. But all right, 716. This is an entry for a buy. It's a just listed, no target. Paul said, look at the 10-minute. What a mess. Let's go to 10-minute real quick. Yeah. You guys can see each 10-minute candle here. It's like every 10 minutes price spikes up, price spikes down, price spikes up, price spikes down, price spikes right back up. Um, yeah, this is a clear example of a market that you don't really want to mess with because you can trade either way. You can trade buys, you can trade sells. You'll still get fucked either way. Um, so this is like an ironic pattern, but you can see every 10 minutes it goes the opposite way, right? So if you want to take a bet here, or if you kind of want to play your hand, after this 10 minutes, it's probably going to come back down. Because you can see over here from 620, price came down, 630, price came up, 640, price came down, 650, price came up, 7 o'clock, price came down, 710, price came up, and then again at 720, this thing might come back down further. So that's something to maybe keep my. There goes the flickering momentum I just told you guys about, right? Yeah. So again, like, the thing is I have all these indicators and tools on the chart. This is just for visualization purposes, right? So that you guys can see and we can see previous history. But the thing is I already knew this was going to happen because I created these tools. So I know when the flickering momentum is going to play out. So yeah, right here I said price is going to push down a little bit and we're going to get a flickering momentum, which is exactly what's happening here. Flickering momentum right there, 717 right there. Yeah, Paul said, I'm gonna take my money and run. I doubt we're getting anything worthy. Barack said, yeah, that's it for me. Seems like a lot of you guys here are not really looking to take anything today. I don't blame you guys. I mean, I'd love to take something, but I'm with you guys on, market structure here. It's not really respecting any of the market structure, right? It's kind of just going back and forth. Okay, there's too much shit going on the chart. Let me take this off. I don't like having a lot of, I like having a clean chart. So let me just take all this stuff off real quick. There we go. I think I'm gonna leave the algo chart kind of clean. I don't like having all the stuff on the chart. I'll put the stuff on the other chart though. So on our main chart over here, we can kind of play around with it. But for or not our main chart, but just our markup chart here. This one's okay, looking a little messy. Yeah, Paul said I'm using a demo account to play around with entries, but everything isn't working. Yeah, it's just too choppy. What's probably happening to you, Paul, is like you're getting spiked out, right? I'm sure like for a lot of your trades, you're getting spiked out where you're getting it's hitting your stop loss and then it's probably going straight to your target right after. Yep, exactly. I knew it. That's what Paul said. That's correct. Yeah. So Paul's kind of playing around with the market with a demo account just to test out stuff, and he's getting stopped out of everything. What's happening is because the market's so choppy here and the volatility is so high, we're currently at like 1440 ATR, is that he's getting stopped out before it reaches his target, right? It'll spike, hit your stop loss. For example, here, if you're taking a buy entry, what will happen a lot of times is like you'll take an entry, it'll spike you out, and it'll go right back to target or a 60/30, same concept. I would, yeah, and it's better that you're using a 60/30 versus a 40/20 because it gives you more leeway. But anyway, same concept, right? Price will kind of go back and forth, push up in profit, come back, stop you out, and then push right back up. I'm sure this is exactly what it might look like. Or it could just be a quick manipulation down and push right back up. If you trade these markets long enough, you'll start to see these patterns. You'll know what's happening. Um, See, this is one of those types of markets where the chop out will be good in like little windows. See, like right here between 643 and like 651, the chop out might work pretty well, but then as soon as you get a big candle, you're fucked. Your whole account will be blown. So market's choppy, but it's not choppy to the point where I would like you'd have to have your entries like really far off, like maybe 100 point chops. Usually if you're using a chop bot or something like that or a grid style entry, you use like 10 points or something like that. Um, you'd still get screwed because the market's chopping like 100 points, right? Like look from this point right here, this low up until here. This is a 176 point chop. So unless your chop is like, it's not even a range, it's more of a chop, it's just chopping up and down. Um, it's huge. It's just unless you have a really, really big stop loss, which is like 100 points or more, you're gonna get chopped out either way. Okay, so here's one thing that I wanted to show you guys. So like check this out. See how the Lux algo is all bullish? I wouldn't be surprised if this thing ends up coming right back down from where it's currently at. Even though it says strong bullish and all that stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing comes all the way back down. I like using this as a confluence if I'm already in the position, but if I'm not in the position yet, um, I don't like looking at it because it this is like a false sense of confirmation. Like if you're looking to take a buy here, you still get screwed. Um, okay, anyways, let me go to the list. So basically all of the target entries for today were just all, and I'll show you guys a list here. I'll put it up now that we're done. Not really done, but done with the entries that we had listed. Okay, so here are the entries that we had listed for today. I'm going to update the spreadsheet as we go. So 716 for a buy. That was this one right here. It was just listed but not targeted. Damn, look at that. Stopped out and then straight to target. It's like I said, guys, the chop here is like you can't really. It's hard to maneuver through this chop, right? Because see how price here, the entry happened at 716 or 717. It's manipulated out and then it shot right back up. This it's exact pattern that I just showed you guys earlier, right? Fake out, push all the way back up to target. And this is what would really piss you off because you're like, fuck, man, my whole analysis is right. It just stopped me out right before I pushed up. So that's gonna be a um well, there was a flickering momentum there, so it probably wouldn't have been an entry to begin with. But yeah, let me go down the list here. So there's no entry for this one. No entry for actually the 718 might have been an entry. Let me see. So the 718 actually was an entry right here. I don't know if anybody got into this one. This was the only one that actually played through pretty smoothly. There's actually no drawdown on this one here. Or no, but there was a flickering momentum, so yeah. So if you guys are still not uh if you still don't understand the flickering momentum, basically when you have a momentum signal that comes up and it doesn't actually close, it'll show up right here under the alerts, and it'll indicate that okay, there's something weird happening right with momentum. Because if the momentum is already pushing up and you get an opposite momentum to the sell side, this is showing you that okay, you probably shouldn't take the trade there because it's probably going to screw with your with the direction of your trade. And I can see how this happened here because we had this huge red candle, and that's why the flickering momentum came up there because it was indicating that the sellers were trying to take control, but they actually got screwed and price pushed all the way back up, right? So the crazy thing, so here, and I'll show you guys all of the entries here. The crazy thing is that we have like all these entries, and the only thing here, we only have two different, we have one catalyst, right? The main catalyst is going to be momentum. That's the only catalyst we have, the only confluence that we have. So we only have two requirements for this strategy, which is the catalyst and the confluence. With only one confluence and one catalyst, we're still having a bunch of no entries, right? Which I think is pretty crazy because typically this would be the case if you have a lot of requirements, but we don't. We only have one requirement, which is with or against momentum. And the only thing that's preventing us from entering the trade, like we're not even using the sessions here, right? If you were to use the sessions, like if you wanted to add more confluences or red flags, like a lot of these trades would have been skipped, right? Like this would have been skipped if I used the sessions. That's why I don't like having it on the chart. Because like I mentioned before, just because the sessions is there, don't allow that to stop you from taking the trade. The crazy thing is really just the flickering momentum, which is, and it doesn't happen all the time. There's only certain areas. You can see there's like pockets of like flickering momentum. Like the last flickering momentum was at 718. It's 726. We went 20 minutes with or 10 minutes without any flickering momentum. So yeah, I mean it's crazy. The flickering momentum does help us from avoiding a lot of losses, but it's crazy that it's able to kind of invalidate a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13 trades. So we had 13 opportunities with like no other criteria other than momentum. And the only red flag that we have is the flickering momentum. It's yeah, I mean it's crazy. Yeah, Masich City, yeah, that was a good skip. Price could have easily gone straight down with those two big candles. I agree with you, Masich, 100%. So although like I wish we would have had one entry for the day and that would have been the one entry for the day of the 720, or not the 720, the 718, um, we avoided a lot of these losses here, right? Because of the flickering momentum. So again, like guys, if you want to use the flickering momentum for your advantage, or feel free to use it. But or feel free to use it or don't use it. But for me, I'm going to use it because long term, I think it's beneficial to use it than not to, right? And I'll show you the spreadsheet. This will give you a better idea of like what I mean by that. 720 for a sell, no entry. All right, let me check a few things here. Let's see, 658. I think that's it. I'm just making sure the flickering momentum's okay. This is gonna be for a buy. All right, I have everything here listed. Let me just update these real quick. But yeah, I'll show you guys how the flickering momentum helped us today, but also how it prevented us. Yeah, okay, here I've updated the spreadsheet. Let me show you guys over here. And all these trades are documented, guys. So I want to show you guys here that this is going to be this is going to be a really useful tool for us in the future because I have everything here documented. But again, see for all the target entries over here, there are basically no entries because of flickering momentum. But if we look over here at 7-Eleven and stuff like that, like I mean these specific entries, yeah. See if we would have taken the trade right here at 7-Eleven, this trade would have been a straight loss, right? This would have been a loss right here. But because we had a flickering momentum, we didn't take the trade, which was a good thing. Because now we didn't take anything, but we also didn't take the loss. Same with this one over here at 714. Same situation. It was for a sell right there. But it was actually there was just no entry here at 714. Not flickering momentum, but just no entry. 715. This was yeah, it's just no entry. 717, 718. Yeah, so we would have just if we took this trade over here, this one would have won, but either way, that'd just be one win for this week. But yeah, if you guys want to see the spreadsheet, I mean, feel free to pull it up, but everything here is updated. Today's just a break-even day for the most part. There was two losses, one win for all of the listed entries, not target entries, but listed entries. Um, and obviously for the target entries, there was literally nothing which came up over here. Let's see. Let's take a look at what is that thing called? The unicorn entry, right? I just saw the chat. I didn't even see if the unicorn entry came up today. So the unicorn entry over here actually it was a no entry because it was for a buy. Actually, no, it still would have came up. So the unicorn entry over here, there was a flickering momentum, but the unicorn entry did come up. So if you guys have been looking at this, I mean, here, let me show you guys the statistics on that entry. That entry is really, really strong. If you want to if you feel like you want to take that risk with that trade, the thing is the numbers are like they're really, really strong. I haven't seen. like for some reason this 702 entry, like the profit factor is 5.6. This is a really, really high profit factor, right? There's gonna be losses here and there, but like yeah, the 702 entry, for whatever reason, I mean, even if you disregard flickering momentum, um, because the back test results here, they don't factor in the flickering momentum. Like it doesn't care. It just takes the trade every single time. The profit factor is really, really high on this one. 75% probability. If you guys look at the numbers over here, this thing has an 82% weighted average, right? That's extremely high. Max equity drawdown is 3%. Overall probability is 75. The buy percentage is 90%. So it wins 90% of the previous 20 entries. It's a lot. And I've never seen a profit factor this high, to be honest. I mean, if you look, so we'll go even farther into the in the statistics. Let's go and take a look at the 60 trade sample. I mean, at some point, I'm like, man, is this should we just take the 702 almost every day? Is that the only trade that we should be looking at? So you look over here, 60 trade sample, it has a 2.55. This is really high for a 60 trade sample. This is 60 trading days, not 60 trades, just 60 trades, but 60 days. So something that's been this accurate for 60 days is pretty incredible. Because if you test the strategy and any other strategy for 60 days, it's going to be really hard to find something that has this high of a profit factor. But right now it's on fire. It's been pretty much killing it. So we'll uh we'll see. Hey Paul, yeah, I see your son right now. Nice. Yeah, he's cute. I was about to get Alina right now, but my wife just took her downstairs. Um yeah, Justice said, yeah, I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong with the algo, but I can't pull 60 trades. So what's the issue with yours? Justice, like, does it just not pull up or does not show or like what's going on with it? I could probably help you troubleshoot it. I did see your messages in the chat this morning, so I wasn't sure what issue you're running to. If you want to send a screenshot of your strategy thing down here, you can take a screenshot of this lower part. I can take a look at it. Because I think you said you're on premium, right? So it shouldn't have an issue. Did any of your trades here come up, Masish? I mean, you probably have the same list as me, but I'm not sure if you took anything here or if anything here that you identified was like, because there's only one trade that came up for me, which was a 718. Yeah, Masish said he didn't take anything. The order flow is insane. Did you like check these to see if any of them actually won though? Yeah, it's crazy. I was surprised to see there was only one entry that came up for me today, right? Like I was like, man, we have so many entries here. Something's got to come up. Like one of these is going to have to hit. And yeah, one of them did come up 718, but because of the crazy market, the price action and technicals and all that stuff, obviously I just didn't want to take it. Plus the flickering momentum. There's going to be days, guys, where there's not a lot of flickering momentum. Just for some reason this week, there's a lot of flickering momentum, right? Every time we had an entry, flickering momentum came up and it prevented us from getting into a loss. But there's a lot of times where there's just no flickering momentum. Like, for example, we'll have like a huge window right here where there's just maybe one momentum the whole time. But yeah, if you look over here, so you look at my alerts, um, so how many flickering momentums did we have this morning? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So basically, all of today, there's 21 flickering momentums. Basically, the market tried to shift 21 times today. That's what this is showing you. It's showing you that every time price pushed one direction, it flickered, it reversed the other way. So if you look at this and you use this in a conceptual aspect of like, just analyzing what happened today, like without even looking at the chart, if you're just looking at the momentum signals here, they showed you that 21 times today there was a reversal. There was like no consistency. I mean, it looks consistent here because you're looking at these candles, as it already happened. But 21 times today, price was like pushed up. It was like, nope, we're gonna push back down and push back up. Nope. Like it looks smooth here because this is after the fact, right? But the thing is, we're already seeing the reversals happen real time, and they're still happening right now, right? So see how price is pushing down right here? We had a momentum signal at 636, 634. This is indicating right here that okay, price is still trying to push back up. So just keep this in mind, guys, right? Again, use all of the tools to your advantage. You don't have to use them all, but use them to your advantage. If you can figure out an edge with this, which we do have, the the pending momentum is more of an edge to avoid bad entries. But if you want to use this to identify reversal, you guys can do that too. Like for example, right now, see how we're currently in a bullish trend? If you keep getting flickering momentums which come up, that's probably a good decision. Okay, maybe it's time to take a buy here because price is bouncing off a pivot and it's likely to push back up higher because the momentum is starting to shift back up. So just something something to take a look at. Let's see. Masich said, look at the momentum signals though. LOL. If you just traded the signals, you would have been golden. Yeah. If you just traded the ones that closed, right? Like literally take the sell momentum, you probably would have been screwed right here because it spiked up so high. This depends on where your stop loss was. But yeah, if you took the momentum signals just for a sell, for a buy, for sell, for a buy, it would have been great. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I see yours right here. Justice, I'm trying to help you out to see what you got. And Elad, I see your, sorry, I totally missed your question earlier. So Elad wants to see examples of the NPS V2. I'll do that in 1 second, Elad. Don't worry, we'll cover that. But let's let me see if I could let me see what Justice has here. Yeah. Oh, let me see, you said no stop loss. Yeah, if you just held the position. So this is another strategy that I've used in the past, guys. I mean, I don't think you guys should use it, but if it's something that you guys want to look into, what I would do in the past, and this is more of a swing, not a swing trading, it's more of a day trading type strategy where you hold on to it for a long time. But basically, I would see how we have a sell signal here. I would enter the sell right here, and I would exit whenever we had an opposite signal. So for example, you hold this down right here, and then once you got a buy signal right here, you'd close it out. So you'd make 60 points on this trade, right? And then same thing the other way. So you have a buy signal here, you just take the buy right there, and then you exit once you have a sell signal. So that's basically a 150 point move right there. So if you guys want to test this out, I have a lot of strategies that I've used in the past, guys. If you guys are curious or if you guys have any ideas, if you guys have come across a strategy that you think might be profitable, you can run it by me. I've probably came by it before, at some point in the past. See, this works good when you have momentum signals that kind of just shift the other way. I don't know if this is something you want to even test out, Masij. If you're curious, maybe you can create a back test on this too. It doesn't always work because the market's not always trending like this, or it's not always like moving so directional in one momentum. So here, this would be a big move, but if it's choppy, like for example, this is a little choppy, you'd still make some profit here. But this is what used to piss me off. It's like price would push down like 100 points. And I'm like, damn, I should have had a target, right? Because instead of getting out at 150, I'd be getting out right here at like 36 points or whatever. But yeah, you can trade. I used to call that strategy momentum to momentum. I would just go from this push to the downside, this push to the upside. And I would just flip the positions as momentum would come up. But yeah, I mean, just something to take a look at. But anyways, let me just help Justice real quick, and then I'll show you examples of MPS V2s a lot. So Justice said he can only pull up 32 days no matter what. Hmm. Let's see. And you said you're on premium, right? You're on the premium trading view. Let's see. I just want to remember the date, December 10th. So you said you put that on the 90 day. Yeah, that's weird. That's really weird, actually. I just put mine on the 90 day and it's at 63. See, the thing is with this shouldn't be a problem for you because I was on premium. I'm on ultimate now, but I was on premium before. Um, let's see. Do you mind taking a picture of your settings? I'm gonna try to see if maybe like there's something wrong with it. Is something that's like curious if there's like, yeah, take a picture of your inputs and then also take a picture of your properties. But yeah, that's weird because a lot of the stuff like you're only limited on your chart of like how many candles will show up, but you're not usually limited on your the actual back testing, like the actual strategy. I see you have the magnifying glass also enabled. Did they limit it, Message? I know it wasn't limited before, but maybe they limited after, like, more recently. They did it yesterday. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what happened. I think they're like this is well, I don't want to downplay. I don't want to down talk trading because I've been using TradingView forever. But yeah, like I feel like they keep updating stuff and they don't really tell you. Yeah, they do updates and they never tell you. And I'm kind of glad that I upgraded to the Ultimate during Black Friday. But yeah, exactly. Masij said no change log or anything BS. Like I can't even check because I'm on Ultimate. I'm on the highest plan. Um, but yeah, from what Justice for I mean from what Masij mentioned, I think that's yeah, because I was looking at yours too. Yours looks different, Justice. Like your performance, a lot of your stuff is not even there anymore. Let me see. Yeah, it's weird that you only have metrics and lists of trades. That's weird. Here, let me refresh this. Maybe it'll change, it'll update. Usually if I refresh it, it'll update. But okay, so mine did update it too. Fuck, maybe I shouldn't have refreshed it. But it still shows all my trades here. The metrics are still below. Okay, that makes sense. They just cleaned it up because there's too many tabs before. They, this is kind of annoying because now I have to scroll down. Before I liked how they had tabs because they were kind of separated by specifics, but now I have to scroll down. Um, okay, so this stuff hasn't really changed, but yeah, I'm looking at like what you have here, and and it looks like they might have limited your total trades. Yeah, they literally just updated this yesterday or this morning, guys, because I updated this yesterday. Every night when I put up my list of trades, I update this. So like when I posted this, I didn't even post it. Let's see, I posted this at midnight. So yeah, I posted my trades here and my stuff didn't look like this, but now it it does. So and I just saw your message last night too, Justice. So I think yeah, they might have limited you. Which sucks. I mean, it fucking sucks. Honestly, it sucks because they should have did this around Black Friday so people could upgrade while the promo's going on. But yeah, they kind of screwed you guys. And it's funny that Daniel mentioned that because he said, yeah, probably because we have 50 people using the algo taking up bandwidth. Yeah, because it's probably that's probably what was happening. Um, over the past year, I feel like a lot of people have started to create backtesting scripts and algos and stuff like that. So yeah, it probably that was probably the reason. There was probably too many people like using the data, and then they ended up making it only for Ultimate, so that you can't pull so much data. Because obviously, this is going to affect like their API and stuff, and Message knows all about API. Uh, Not just for the backtesting stuff, but like just for like a lot of other things that they have here. There's a lot of backend. But yeah, I think that is really annoying. That is really annoying that because they do this all the time. If you guys have been using Trading for a bit, they make updates, but they never tell anybody what they do. Sometimes it says what's new here, but you can see there's no they haven't even told anybody that they've updated the backtest scripts. Yeah. Well, I mean that's unfortunate. All right, just I think that's the thing. I think that's what happened. I think they did the update and they just limited how many trades you can go back on. I don't, does anybody else have premium? If you guys want to check it, I mean, if you guys can, if you guys are part of if you guys have access to my algo, if you can hit 90 days and see if it shows 63 trades or if it shows less. Because if it's working for other people, then it just might be an isolated issue for you, Justice. Because there's nothing in the settings that would mess this up. I don't think there's anything here that you can enable that will mess it up. Because it's still one trade per day for whatever time frame you put it on. Masij said no, another guy messaged me, it's trading view. Okay, that's what I figured. Masij said they Masij said they said I pulled 8 million files and it hit the limit. Yeah. So that was the problem with running the screener. If you guys, if you guys have been using the algo, I used to have the screener that was on the chart over here that showed the list of trades. Um, when I was building the algo initially, they limited me too because they said that my code was too long. I think that might have been an issue that you're running with too, Masij. I had too much code, like too many lines of code, and then if it took more than a minute for it to load up, they stopped it. And they basically were like, "Your code's too long, and you can't run this on their Pine script." Um, so I had to clean up the code to make it more efficient, and then I had to take out some features basically. Oh yeah, yeah, no, same with me. That's why I had to upgrade to Ultimate as well. All right, well, hopefully that gets fixed. I don't, you could try to message support. Just as I think that's probably your best option. That's the only thing you can really do. Message support, tell them that you're having an issue. They'll tell you if it's a new feature that they've limited you, or they'll tell you, okay, this is an actual problem and they'll fix it. Or they're gonna ask you to upgrade. Yeah, exactly what Message mentioned. It's crazy. TradingView used to be completely free. And like if you wanted to have more alerts, they would charge you for it, but like now they charge you for like literally everything. What are the plans over here? Yeah, see, I'm on Ultimate right now. Um, I don't see any upgrade. I don't there's actually no reason for me to be on Ultimate other than because of, the Pine script tools and stuff, but there's not really much of a difference here aside from like having priority support and stuff like that. But yeah, this stuff used to be free. There used to be only like one option, which was to get more alerts and have more indicators on the chart. But other than that, it was like completely free. I've been using TradingView for a long time now, and it's starting to add up. Anyways, guys, okay. Elad, are you still here? I just want to make sure you're here real quick. So, Elad, let me know if you're still here and if you want me to cover the MPSV too, so I can cover it. If not, then I'll probably make a separate video in the future. But if you are here, just let me know so I can cover it. Otherwise, it's kind of pointless for me to cover if you're not here. Okay, a lot's here. All right, guys, we're getting close to 8 o'clock. I'm just going to cover some examples of MPSV2 real quick. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Looks like Sam's done for the day. Sam said he made 3 wins with YM and now he's done. All right, Message. We'll see you back here on Monday. Have a good weekend. Yeah, he made 3 wins. So Sam takes a lot of these smaller entries. He takes like little sweeps, little MPSV2s. But let me show you guys some examples of MPSV2s for today. So here's like another thing that I mentioned with the Lux Algo tool. See this looks really clean and it looks good right now. But if you go back, like let's just replay to like over here. All this stuff is kind of like irrelevant, honestly, because it looks nice after the fact. Like once it happens, it looks great. But when live market is happening right here, all of these like zones that they drew up in the past, they're irrelevant. Like see how price blasts right through them? This is why this kind of pissed me off because I was like, man, this thing looks cool. Like when I saw it, but then I started to use it. I'm like, man, I can't believe I spent so much money on this tool. It doesn't even work, right? Like it has like all of the probabilities right there, like 33%, 5%. Like I think this would be like a selling factor for me. I'm like, okay, cool. 62%, I can catch the reversal right there. But look what happens. It goes right through it. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like it doesn't really work as good as like they advertise it to. So I kind of hate when tools do that. They overpromise, um, and they don't actually work. So yeah, looking at this tool here again, guys, I wouldn't recommend buying it. You can see it looks good when stuff has already moved and happened. When price comes up and it breaks through these certain zones or breaks through these areas, they just disappear, and you're like, man, it was like not even a strong zone to begin with. But let me show you guys some examples of the MPSV2. I'll just turn this off for now. Yeah, Justice said, actually, I'm going to stay for this MPSV2. I need to learn this trade. Okay, perfect. So here's an MPSV2 entry. I'll try to turn on the session so we can kind of look at red flags and stuff like that. Um, I don't think there's any good MPSV2 entries for today because of the choppiness of the market, but I'll see if there's anything here that we can probably take away from. Okay, so let's and I'll replay it so it's like you can kind of see. This is an example right here. This is a MPSV2. I think we said for the MPSV2, the 40/20s work best, right? Or I don't know, you could use a 60/30, it doesn't really matter. It's whatever you guys prefer. But here, I'll use this as an example. Let me just go over here real quick. So this would be considered red flag. This is actually one that you would avoid because it's right at the sessions, but we're just going to disregard the sessions here so that I can show you guys an example of the MPSV2. So here is, I'll put the requirements here. You know what? I think I have the requirements already listed on here. You guys can see all my strategies I've used over the years. Momentum pullback scalp, V2. There we go. Okay, so these are the requirements for the momentum pullback scalp V2 strategy. First, you want to identify the direction of market. Obviously, price is bearish here, right? So the way to determine that is using the pivots. So in order to determine the direction of market, you want to see where price is. Is price below the pivots? Is price above the pivots? Are the pivots fanning out to the downside? Are the pivots fanning out to the upside, right? When price is above the pivots and they're fanned out to the upside like this indicates we're in a bullish direction, right? Vice versa over here, you can see prices below the pivots. You can see the pivots are fanning out this way. This is going to identify that price is currently in a bearish direction. So if you want to be more specific, you can just say identify current trend. I mean, use identify current direction of market using trend. I just kind of left this open-ended because it just depended on what you're using to identify the direction, right? You can use the pivots, you can use a trend meter. It's up to you. You can see right here, the trend meter is red. This identifies that it's bearish. Right here, price is below the pivots. This identifies that the price is bearish as well. So with that being the case right here, that's going to be step one. So step one, identify current direction of market. It's currently bearish right now. Step two, you want to identify the direction of momentum, right? Identify momentum in direction of market. So for example, over here, step one, we already said price was bearish, right? Because price is below the pivots, the trend meter is red, pivots are angling down. That indicates that price is bearish. Now, what you want to confirm here is that the momentum is also bearish, right? We have a sell momentum right here. So price is bearish, momentum is bearish. That's step one and two. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. In a lot of instances, you can knock those two out with like one look at the market. You can just look at the market and say, okay, price is below the pivots, trend meter's bearish. You just take one glance. Bearish, 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 bearish momentum. Obviously, steps one and two are met. Step three is identify retracement against the direction of market, right? So looking at this here again, again, like a lot of this stuff, once you get good at it, you don't have to look at all three requirements separately. You can just take a glance at the market and you can see everything is there already. So, step one, identify direction of market. It's bearish with regard to the trend. Identify momentum. It's bearish right here because we have a sell signal. There's no buy signals in between. Step three, identify retracement. So, looking at this right here, price is pushing down. A retracement is just any opposite candle, right? Because we already identified and confirmed that everything's bearish, right? So as long as you see some green candles right here, it only needs to be one. So the retracement happened right here. And the reason why it's a retracement is because obviously we're looking for price to push down. Anything against that direction would be a retracement. So this candle right here would be the retracement. That would be step three, right? Again, step one, identify direction, bearish. Identify momentum, bearish. Identify retracement, green candle right here. Now, going on to step four, identify confirmation of continuation in the direction of the market, right? So, for example, here, to confirm that, you just want to see a candle right back in that direction. Again, keep it as simple as possible. Retracement just means green candle, right? Don't make it too complicated. You don't have to see two green candles. You don't have to see three green candles. You just see one green candle. That's the retracement, right? I feel like for a lot of people, people want to overcomplicate things. That's why I kind of dumbed down these requirements. I didn't like make it super specific. So I'm like, okay, don't make it hard on yourself. Just look for the retracement, which is one candle there, and then look for one confirmation, which is one red candle, right? Retracement is obviously opposite. Confirmation is the direction of the trade. So retracement, confirmation, right? Again, I'm going to go over all the requirements. Confirm direction of market, bearish, prices below the pivots, trend meters red. You don't have to use both of these. Just use your common sense. Prices below it, obviously it's bearish. Step two, confirm momentum. This, again, you can't screw this up. I see a lot of people screw this up, but it's really hard to screw this up because there's only one thing to look at. So bearish direction, bearish momentum, retracement, green candle, confirmation, red candle, and that's it. If you can confirm all those things there, if you do this enough times, you could just take a glance and you're like, okay, this is an MPS V2. That's why a lot of people in the chat, you'll see they already identify the MPS V2 before it even comes up, or they see it coming up because it's so simple to look at. It's a basic price action pattern, right? So with that being the case right there, that's what we have set up. Now you're going to enter on the close of the continuation candle. Over here, these aren't going to be fixed TP stop losses because we've kind of made adjustments to it. If you want to use 2020 or 2030, I mean, feel free to use that. But right now, the volatility is really high, right? The ATR is at 39. So obviously, we're using a 60-30 because you don't want to use anything too tight. So with that being the case, this is the MPS V2 entry. You let the trade run. It fills right there on the next candle, and then it pushes down to target. So it's a super simple, straightforward strategy. If you guys are still confused, get into the chat and let me know so I can explain it further. But this is an example of the MPS V2. Once you get the actual, the standard foundation of the strategy down, then you can add other confluences to it, right? You can add, like one thing that a lot of people don't like to take this entry for is if the candle is bigger than the stop loss, right? That's one thing to look out for. Like for example, if you're using a 20-point stop loss here, this would have been avoided because if price retraces back at all, it's going to stop you out. But over here, this is like just on the dot. So this would be considered an okay entry. So yeah, if there's any questions regarding the MPS V2 guys, feel free to let me know. I don't think there's any other good examples here. I would show you another example here if there was one for today, but there really isn't. This is one right here where price came down very heavily. There would be another MPS V2 right here, but this obviously would be a loss. Let me see if So with this right here, I don't think this would be an entry that would have been taken because this is where like price starts to reverse. This is where I identified earlier. If you guys remember earlier this morning, I said Be careful with any sells here because price looks like it's going to reverse. And then we had the alerts over here. So this is not a good example. Using my discretion here, I just I wouldn't have chased this because it already dropped down so much. Um, other than that, I think that's about it. Like there's another entry right here, but this isn't with the trend, so I wouldn't take this one. But this is another MPSV2 type setup, buy signal retracement confirmation. This just didn't have the direction of the trade. Same with this over here. Price came up, so sell signal, retracement confirmation. Um, Here, let me just show you guys real quick the requirements again. So over time, they've adapted the strategy, right? So for me, I had direction of market. There's some people in the market in the group who don't even use this anymore. Like I think Daniel, you're probably one of them, right? I remember looking at your requirements. Um, you actually don't even look at the direction. You kind of just go with momentum wherever it's going. So again, you guys can make like changes to these strategies, these indicators, these requirements. You don't have to follow it exactly how I teach it. This is just the original way of applying it, but you can always take out requirements. You can put in requirements. You can make it fit your trading style as closely as you like it. Yeah, so Daniel said, yeah, he only takes it from the higher, lower, low before momentum. And that's perfect, right? If you want to just go based off price action, you don't care about the trend, that's perfectly fine because if you did it that way, you wouldn't have missed out on this trade, right? Because this is actually a really good trade right here. It's an MPSV2 setup, price push up, retracement confirmation. You would have missed out on this huge push because you were waiting for the trend, right? Like this is a great entry right here. Same with the sell over here, right? The sell is happening, but if you were following the trend, you wouldn't have taken the trade because obviously there was nothing there because the trend hasn't confirmed yet. Yeah, so let's see. Um, yeah, Alana, I haven't seen you say anything, so I'm not sure if you need any more help or if you understand it, but if you need any more help on this, just let me know. So Justice said, so this is probably best used in a very directional market. Yeah, so there's different ways of applying it, Justice. Like I mentioned, if you want to apply this with the direction of the trend, then yes, this strategy originally was supposed to be used only in directional markets, like when it's trending heavily in one direction. But Daniel over here, so what he did is he kind of twisted it a little bit, right? He made it work where it doesn't have to be trending. Like it could be a choppy market like this, but you could still take the MPS V2s, right? So for example, if I was to take the criteria off for a direction of market, let's just take off the trend here. See how you can still take these MPS V2s in both direction? Like it still works that way, right? That's why I'm saying like I created this strategy with the mindset because like I'm a trend trader, right? Like I like to trade in the direction of the trend. I mentioned that earlier when we were talking about mean reversion. If you want to be a mean reversion trader, that's completely fine. You can still apply MPSV2 in mean reversion, right? Because price over here established a low, which is basically what Daniel's doing. He's identifying the lows here, right? So if I turn on the high low indicator, what Daniel's doing here is he's actually trading mean reversion. He's trading the reversals, which I agree with. I think it's good. Personally, I think what he's doing makes more sense in this type of market because it's choppy. But yeah, I'm looking for the high low indicator. Where did I put it at? Did I delete it? Oh, it's right there. Oh, that's sessions high low. Where the fuck? Oh, there we go. It's this one. Okay. So the way that Daniel applies it is he identifies, see, like there was an intro here for MPSV2, and there's a lower low right here. This established basically a support level, and he saw price push away from it, retrace, continue back up. So he's doing mean reversion. The trend here could be trending downwards, but he saw the reversal right here, and he identified this as an MPSV2 to the upside. The other tool that he uses to avoid trades would be the sessions. Because the sessions were in the way, he didn't take the trade there. But if there wasn't a sessions in the way, he probably would have taken it there, right? This goes both ways. So like looking at this here, same thing with this sell right here, right? This actually lines up perfect with what Daniel is looking for because he has a higher high right here. He identified the resistance. He saw price push away from it, and you could have taken the trade right there for a sell. And we've done this in the past. If you guys remembered, I've taken MPS V2s exactly like this. There was a point in time where I just disregarded the trend because it was so choppy, and we would just take trades. Like for example, here's another one. I mean, this wouldn't meet the criteria, but same thing here, right? It hit a support level, buy signal, retracement confirmation. Boom, perfect entry, right? If you want to do 40-20, because the ATR is down now, right? Look at the ATR. It's down to 22. You can take this for a 40-20 now. So, like I said, there's different ways of applying the strategy. There's just not one way to do it. If you guys want to be mentored by me, so I know I'm not mentoring very much, but if you guys want private mentoring, like if you want to just set up, if you want to schedule a one-on-one session with me and we can, if this is your strategy, right? If you really like the strategy and you want me to dig deep with you, because that's the thing. If you find a strategy that works well with you, I can help you improve. It's just, you got to ask me the right questions and we have to like really sit down and talk about it because I have one way of applying it. I like to trend trade, right? I only trade with a trend. But if you want a mean reversion trade, I know how to mean reversion trade. It's just you have to tell me that that's what you want to do. Because if you don't tell me, I can't help you, right? Um, because the thing is, I've been trading for so long, so like I know how to trade every other type of way, but I know that I'm not a mean reversion trader. I like to trade with the trend. So for me specifically, I just stick to, trend following. But yeah, I mean, again, if you guys want to go back and test this and apply it the way that Daniel's doing it, I think Daniel's doing it the perfect way right now because we're in such a choppy market, right? You don't really see this type of movement, bullish continuation or bearish continuation or anything like that. You see a lot of choppiness here. So what happens is if you guys can identify certain things like market structure using the high low, like here's another example right here where price kind of came down like this or whatever it may be. Um, if there's a higher high or a lower low at that point, you can kind of just mark up. Like for example, here, see how we have a higher high? If you get an MPSV2 and then we have with the sell signal, right? You can look for the MPSV2 here now, and you can ride this down lower. But again, it's really up to your preference and how you guys want to apply it. But let me just scroll over here real quick if there's any other questions, and I will wrap this up for the week. So yeah, Justin said, so in summary, basically look for a higher higher, lower low. Yeah, exactly. So like what Daniel is doing is he is looking for he's looking for basically a ceiling, right? If you have a higher high, this usually indicates a ceiling. Price is not going to push higher than that. And then vice versa, if you see a lower low, this indicates a floor. So that's what Daniel is doing. He's identifying the very bottom and the very tops. And he's basically trading the bounces off those areas, right? Take the buy right there, vice versa, take the sell right there. So it makes sense, right? It makes all the sense. But again, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. I'll probably be hanging around for a little bit. Yeah, unfortunately, guys, no entries for today. Again, here's the list of entries for today and for this week. I just haven't had anything today, which is okay. It's just one of those days or one of those weeks where there's nothing here. This is the first official trading week of the year, so I wasn't really expecting too much this year or this week. And I'm hoping it picks up because we still have the rest of the month of January. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, guys, have a great weekend. I know we didn't have any trades for this week, but this doesn't mean that's going to be this way for the rest of the month. So hopefully next month or next week is going to be a lot more directional and smoother, and we'll be able to take these trades, hopefully no flickering momentums, and we can officially kick off the trading year. Haven't taken any trades yet this year, and I'm hoping we get some next week, which I think we will. So, all right, guys, have a great weekend, and I will see you guys back here on Monday for market.